All right, guys, my last update of the day. In case you didn't know, check out the DW. It's a Denmark. What is this? I've never heard of this. It's an international news outlet. It's from what is this? It's from Germany. Okay, and it goes in 30 languages, and five die in sectarian fight in Egypt. This was brought to my attention by Vlad of the Global Rev. Thank God for you guys. Thank God for you guys and your work. It's an honor to have even my vehicle stolen. Well, you guys are raided by 4 levels of federal agents. Anyway, if we're sharing the truth live, I don't know how on earth sharing information live by live stream could be so menacing to a country that claims to stand up for self-governance, justice, um, responsibility, freedom. Right, okay, but full out gun violence and with assault rifles, apparently. So, yeah, I guess there's some serious interreligious hatred. I guess, or not interreligious, but there's some Christian Muslim squabbles and holy sites. So this is that's happening. Anyway, I wanted to share this in light of the culture of activism and of the youth, especially in the United States. In the United States, it's very important to see how we are complacent in a global assault and war on humanity. And that's emblematic in what's happening in Egypt, which could very well continue to erupt, and what's happening in Syria, which is a proxy war for currency battles over the petrodollar. And I mean, some people I've been told, like, something that really, really hits my spiritual nerve is when people say, oh, look at this with a spiritual eye. Like, there's some oppression that occurred in Syria and Afghanistan and Iran. And honestly, like, after the United States went through these countries, they're worse off. And if there was spiritual oppression occurring, that should happen incrementally, not through violence. And these, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but Syria and North Korea would not be playing themselves out in such a violent manner if there was not money to be made. So I'm going to share this video and a little video down here that was a very formative video for me. And I think there's a reason System of a Down, Rage Against the Machine, and others are not playing live music because it's so powerful. Yeah, I mean, we live in a country where JFK, Robert F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, were all shot. Malcolm X, for saying that war's wrong and that we need new currencies. So, why are people drinking? Especially people who claim to be fighting for justice. Some people say you need a break, but I mean, like, pray and meditate. All of these mind-deadening devices really greatly compromise our capacity to think clearly and to work well at a critical stage in human life, in human evolution. I have no doubts that we'll make it through whatever is occurring, no matter how violent or unfortunately late coming our addressing of global warming and all these other things like comes to fruition. But it's kind of like the last tantrum of, if you look at us as a whole organism, but it's almost as though we're going through this last childish tantrum. And if you think about the way that our culture works and how consumerism, materialism, exploits this highly formative stage in a human's life. You look at it in the United States, be it men or women, these emotions and these instincts of identity and all of that are like kind of, if you look at them in a macro level, it's kind of like nations and tribal identities are hitting this peak where they can be very easily exploited and used against somebody, against the peoples. And so in such a formative stage, it's very important to be sober. And it's very easy to mask one's consciousness in something that distorts it without commanding your consciousness. Because all of those drugs or whatever, they show us that we're capable of something else, a different way of being and thinking and feeling, that we are capable of creating within ourselves without the aid of an external stimulus and being dependent upon it. So let us not be dependent. And I guarantee, again, like when I try to think about this stuff, or not just think about it in these works, right? The Dutch came to Mannahatta and they asked the Lenape and the other First Nations in the area, the Algonquin and Iroquois, could we have just a little bit of land for a few seeds? And look at New York. Now that's what that little teeny tiny request resulted in. A very, in a way, manipulative request. And imagine what kinds of fruit will be born 10 years with the advent of the technology that we have now within our good works. Even as everything around us may seem more and more chaotic, the light that comes from our good deeds will be so apparent and so it will have impacts we cannot imagine or conceive. Just like the first people who were even tweeting about like Occupy way back in September. Just even those little tiny tweets, the reverberations of positivity from people unleashing the true importance of us addressing the financial monopolies that are driving these currencies and these wars for centuries. And the culture of materialism that has strangled humanity's true nature. Like just those couple of tweets. Now, we're mobilized globally. So I'm praying like, guys, be sober, please. If you need help, let me know. I'll take